Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. I should have said Divisional Round episode, but that's here nor there. We got a special guest on here today. We got my man Mike 365 back in the building. We about to hit y'all off with something. We got something special for you.
Mm.
Mike, what's going on, family? How you feeling?
Look,
Yeah,
another
got my
day
man.
here.
Listen, first of all, I'm ready for you. I got my water on here. I got to the gym, got the
Oh
cardio. You see what I'm saying? I came prepared because I knew you was gonna be here.
no!
You
Ooh,
see what I'm
bars,
saying?
bars,
You
bars.
keep. Listen, you keep an Uptown Manhattan healthy, so I had to make sure I came correct if I'm gonna have you here.
Yo, gotta come correct, man. Start the year off right.
To come
Happy New Year,
correct.
my brother. First and foremost,
Happy New Year to you
New
too.
Year, new blessings. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, let's just jump right into this then.
You know it, cause you know college football coming on soon.
So we're gonna have to get to
Ooh.
the national title game. So we're gonna have a little bit into the first quarter, but I'm watching the whole thing after that. So we're gonna hurry up.
Yeah,
So the divisional round, let's start off with this. The Chiefs took care of business against the Texans. They won
yeah, they did.
23-14. Let's look up some stats. Um, it's a shame too because CJ Stroud, man, he did his thing this year. We'll get into that. But he was
Yo, he
19
did.
28, 245 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Joe Mixon was 18 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins led them in receiving with 5 receptions for 81 yards. Dalton Schultz also had 63 yards, and that pretty much is what happened there. Patty, he was 16 and 25, 177 yards, one touchdown, no picks. Not much on the ground. Kareem Hunt led him in rushing with 8 carries for 44 yards, but he did have a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He did. A little
But then
smooth
Travis
touchdown.
Kelsey, there's been a Travis Kelsey sighting. He said you must have forgot. Seven receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. So, what happened this game? First of all, you saw what I saw. So, what happened this game?
First and foremost, shout out to that boy Travis Kelsey. Definitely got to give him, his creds. They only had him for 54 yards, and he doubled that. That's a lot right there.
You hit on that. Sounds like you hit on something.
Yeah, you know
That's
it.
that. For y'all don't know, that's Mike talk for. I made some money.
I made some money. Yeah, but back to him and stuff. Yo, he played a phenomenal game. I gotta tip my hat to him. He did his thing. He held it down. He stood on business. He understood the assignment. That's most importantly. I will say for a defending title team like the Chiefs, when it comes to a caliber player like that, you got to know how to stop him. Just like how they double team, how the Chiefs was able to double team Collins in the beginning of the game and all
Mhm,
that, because they
mhm.
know Collins is they know he bring that pressure.
Yeah,
So they double teamed them. They already showed me that they came with a game plan. And that's the biggest thing. They came with a game plan. The Chiefs defense came with a game plan for them, but they ain't come with a game plan for the Chiefs, and when it comes to the Chiefs offensively, you gotta know how to stop the main weapon. Mahomes is reaching for Kelsey. So I just felt like, yeah, it's not always easy to stop a tight end, but come on, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of won the game for them. He had a lot of good plays. They was supposed to at least put that middle linebacker back, have a little eye spot on Mahomes. They was something, but
mhm, mhm.
clearly they wasn't doing it. They started coming back in the second half, but then Collins, I ain't gonna lie to him too. Once he got a little room and stuff, he started to figure it out. He
Mhm.
started to make some incredible catches and everything.
He did his thing. He did his thing.
Yeah, he did his thing. And so, that was a good game. It was really a good game to watch. I got to give it to the Chiefs on that one. They earned that. They did a lot of studying on that, a lot of film. They did their thing.
So inversely, I thought the Texans did have a plan for the Chiefs. See, this is the problem. See, this is the problem with the Chiefs and what's happened this whole year. People always been looking at the stats as opposed to what's really going on. You
Hmm.
see, the Chiefs actually, because through all this time when they had all of these injuries at the wide receiver core, at their running back position, well, well now they got like three running backs, and they have like four receiving weapons. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So everybody's looking at it and saying, "All right, they don't have like a top end number one wide receiver." No, but their number two is as good, if not a little better than your number two, and their number three is definitely better than your
yeah.
number three. So with their game plan, I think was like, all right, I haven't heard nothing from Travis Kelsey in like the last like 2 months. Let's leave him alone and let's
That's
take care of
true.
everything else. and now you see what happened. So I actually thought that
Yeah.
they did have a game plan. Um, the Chiefs are just better at situational football than everybody else. And also
But
and
what they
also
always what they not to cut you off, but what they always say, playing football coming up, they say big time players make big
big
time
time
plays
plays and
in
big
big
time
time
games.
games. Come
That's what
on.
they say. That's what they say. But also wanted to put this bug out there too because I don't think many people say this. Yo, Andy Reid is an offensive coach. How many bad defenses you really seen him have? Just food for thought. That's all I'm
Yeah,
really saying.
true,
That's just food for thought.
true.
Um. So okay. So the Texans lost. What does this loss mean for the Houston Texans?
I feel like now this shows them like, hey, we made it this
Before you
far.
keep going, I just want you to say I love this is why I love having people on the show because I ain't got to talk the whole time. I'm gonna let you talk, and then I'm gonna drink my water, and then that's why I love having people
Yes,
on the show.
yes, Sirski.
So go ahead.
Look, man, what I gotta say about the Texans, I would definitely say, for them to go this far, I tip my hat to them. The QB at the end of the day, he's still young. He's still young. I see a bright future with him. I definitely see him, getting a ring down the line. I don't know if it's gonna be next year, the year after, but I know the Texans is coming. Biggest thing I will say if they had all their weapons, because number
Yeah,
three, he just got
absolutely,
hurt.
absolutely.
Yo,
Had a couple injuries, absolutely.
yeah, and then you got this other guy that was on the Bills last year. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Uh
Diggs, Stephon Diggs.
Diggs, yeah. So, they lost a lot of big receivers. So to go that far, at the round one, then you got round two. Look, I tip my hat to them. Once they get a whole healthy, line and they got all the receivers, oh man, it's
Mhm.
scary for them. So I feel like this right here, it's a rule awakening. It's gonna show them that hey, you know what? Next year we gotta prepare for this. This is what we gotta do next year. Let's come bigger and better. Don't get rid of nobody. Don't do no trades. If you're gonna do anything that's gonna be an add-on, just make sure that you got backups that's gonna strap up. That's it. That's it. But as far as everything else, look, they got it. They got it. Everybody on there is fairly young. Nobody's really old. Look, they got it. They definitely got it. I see a lot for them because they played a real good game. I will say that. It just when it comes to the Chiefs, you got to come a little different. That's all it is.
But you
Chiefs, they
know
won
what
it.
though? But you know what though? I do want to shout out CJ Stroud. So for me, see, I think there's a big four in terms of quarterbacks. Like the elite quarterbacks, I think Patrick Mahomes, my man from the Bills, Josh from the Bills,
Hmm.
um, who else am I thinking about? Oh, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I
Yeah.
don't know why I couldn't think of Josh Allen for a second. But those are the big four for quarterbacks. And I think CJ Stroud has solidified himself as on the way to being in there
Yeah.
and making it into that group, but being just a step below that. And there's
Hey, if you
nothing
had my
wrong with
top
that.
10, he's in my top 10 this season. I will say that.
Quarterbacks, I have him five. I have him five.
I give you that. I respect that one.
I
I,
have
I
him
can
five.
honestly say that too.
I have him five. And the only and I can say that because Jaden Daniels, we'll get into that. He's been showing what he's been showing, but he's a rookie. You see, and I got to see what because CJ Stroud last year looked amazing too. He was
Yeah.
phenomenal, and this year defense is caught up and it made it real hard for him. He had some injuries, so I got to see Jaden Daniels in that. You know what I mean? When now people are looking at you. Now they're like, all right, I respect you and I want to see. So
Uh-huh.
I would want to see that from him. So for me, yes.
That's a
Uh
fact.
five.
I like that. I definitely go with five on that one. You know, if not five, he's a heavy six, but he's in there though. I got to tip my hat to him.
Strong six. If he ain't five, he's a strong six.
Strong six. I like
But I
that
don't
one.
know who you putting in there in that five.
Ooh, I got my reasons.
And I got it. No, I know where you're going with it. I'm just like, he did more with less. You know what I'm saying? Once you
No, he
start doing
did.
that
He
for me,
did.
when you start doing more with less, I'm like, that's a different conversation with
He's
quarterback.
a great player. I definitely got to say, for him to be fairly young, yo, I tip my hat to him. I never seen as many rookies like that. Last time we had a good run like this with rookie quarterbacks, I say it was RG3, Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, like around that era.
That was a good
That's
that was
when
a good run with rookie
look,
quarterback. Rookie quarterback was coming in strong at that point.
Come on, they was coming in strong.
Nah,
That's the last time I seen something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
But
and mind you, it's so crazy how history repeats itself because look what teams they were on. The same teams that's going now, minus Andrew Luck. But look, RG3 was with Commanders.
don't put my quarterbacks right now because Anthony Richardson is not.
Andy Rich,
not
nah, yeah, he's
in
not.
this conversation.
He can't.
But speaking of Jane Daniels, very smooth transition because the next game, the Commanders went in there and upset the Detroit Lions. They went in there and they handled business and they shocked the world. They went in there and they put up 45 on them boys.
45.
45-31.
I'll be honest, this is one of the best games I've seen in a long time. I never I tip my hat. I tip my hat to the
We
defending
talked
team.
at halftime and it wasn't that bad, but they was up 10. And I said, I still think the Detroit's gonna go back. And he was like, nah, I don't think they got this.
What I told you,
See, I'm honest. If I'm gonna say behind, if I'm
you're a
gonna say
real
it
one.
off camera, I'm gonna say it on camera too. Okay, so just so everybody know, I'm honest. Do you see?
On that one too, King.
So uh so let's go. Jared Goff, he was 23 of 40, 313 yards, one touchdown and three picks. Ouch. Jahmyr Gibbs, he was 14 carries, 105 yards, two touchdowns.
Woo.
Jameson Williams, he had one carry for 61 yards, and that was a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Amon St. Brown, he had 8 receptions for 137 yards, no touchdown.
He went crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Sam Laporta had the touchdown. He had about 50 yards receiving.
And that's surprising. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But Jaden Daniels, 22 of 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
That
Brian
boy,
Robinson,
nice.
15 carries, 77 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Jeremy Nicholson also had a rushing touchdown. Damie Brown, he had 6 receptions for 98 yards, no touchdowns though. Terry McLaurin did have 4 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown. And Zach Ertz had the other touchdown. So, how did Washington come into Detroit?
Off the back.
Said that's some nice cookies you got there, and I'm taking them. And they took their cookies and they ate it right in front of them. How did that happen?
Off the back. Look, oh man, they came different. That's all I'm gonna say. Look, we've been calling out because we did this real early. Go through
in the
footage.
Summer. Go back. Yes, absolutely.
Summer.
People go back to the summertime. You're gonna see me and Mike was on Jane Daniels pause. First of all, pause.
Freaky.
That was crazy. We was talking about Jaden Daniels way before everybody else was saying that. We was like, no, this year he's gonna be a little different. And I said,
one thing
lined
about
up,
Leos,
this has a
man,
very
when you stick
RG3
together.
feeling to this year for Jaden Daniels if it lines up.
That's a fact, man. One thing about Leo is when you stick together, you make the right choice.
See what I'm saying?
Look, telling you.
Lesser
So
signs.
yeah,
The rest of them lesser signs.
yo, for real. Yo, so back to Daniels, man. I will say, yo, he stood on business. He definitely stood on business. I seen him very early. I'm not gonna say I'm a psychic, but I'm gonna say I know a good player when I see him. That dude was very calm. One thing that you called out very early, you gave me a little alignment. He was around a lot of people that, somewhat veterans, So I just felt like in that locker room, it hit different, and he even actually admitted it too when he just had his little interview. He said it. He said, my offensive coaches, everybody uplift me. They pick me up, nobody downplay anybody, we all stick together and we fight through it. And a game like that, I definitely say I watched body language. I watched him even play at the plate when Teddy Bridgewater came on and that touchdown happened. I looked right at him and he was like this, straight face, just calm. I said, damn, that boy gone. And I just got on the phone with you. I said, oh, snap. When they just scored, what happened? They got it right back. I tipped my hat to him. He had me a little scared in the beginning of the season with the little injuries and stuff. But I just knew if he got healthy and he got right, he was going to do his thing. 299 yards as a rookie. Boy, you nice. You're
He been
nice.
cooking all year.
He been cooking all year. He's been doing his thing. I gotta tip my hat to him. Look, he's like that. He's definitely like that. He was running and he was passing. He was doing everything. And every pass I seen was on a dime. Into that first and to the last pass. Yo, he was putting on the money. And then you got his backups. You know, I'm my brother's keeper. When you're on that field and you got your brothers defending for you and they doing their thing too, like McLaurin, right?
Terry McLaurin, yeah.
Yeah, Terry McLaurin. Yo, that touchdown was fire. Yo, it's funny because I was watching the play and I called it out. You know me, I used to be quarterback back in my days. I seen what they
That's
was
right.
doing,
That's
and I
right.
said, yo, I said, this is about to be a
Mike used to hit,
touchdown. I said, he
Mike
gonna
used
do
to
a
hit him with
screen, yeah, and hit him with the screen, got through, it's over. The one thing they messed up with, they gotta stop playing man. You know, you got to think about it. These dudes have a lot of one-on-ones before the season. This is what you live for. That's like me and you on the turkey ball. We playing football. What we do? One-on-one. Come on. When you on a level like that, you got to play more strategic. Cover, zone them out. A team like that where people was quick off the ball and fast on their feet, you should not be manning. And that's what kind of messed up the Lions. They were in a sugar rush. They had a sugar rush. The adrenaline is high, and they keep on coming up. You can't do that with some guys. You can't. Because if you got some good blockers and you got some good receivers, touchdown every time.
right,
You know?
right.
So
So
I
no, go ahead, go
definitely
ahead.
say good game. I gotta call that one.
Okay. So I'm gonna stay with Detroit first too. So first of all, coming into this game, Detroit had a rash of injuries. Like it was about like 6 or 7 starters that were like out. You know what I mean? So you can't.
Yeah,
You have to protect your defense first of all.
you
Even if your
do.
defense is good, you still got to protect the defense. So I thought that um, the Lions, but also Jared Goff, did a very poor job of protecting the
Oh,
defense
dog.
and turning the ball over. But this isn't the first time this year that they turned the ball over, except they won that. And that's sometimes, I know it sounds crazy. A lot of people are not going to get it, but a lot of times when you win the games where you should have lost, where like you didn't feel the consequences of the mistakes that you were making, you get into bad habits. And I
That's true.
thought that Detroit, the reason why I thought Detroit would come back, it was because I thought that they would have learned, all right, we can't continue we got to bail ourselves out. We got to put ourselves in better situations, stuff like that. They clearly didn't learn that lesson. Um,
No, they got in his yo. They got in Goff head, man. They got in his head.
um, but yeah, so that's it. But that's all right because they got all season to think about that at this point.
Look,
But
oh look,
in
and
terms,
I
in
feel
terms,
bad. Shout out to the Lions, man. I feel bad
shout
for
out to the
them. You
Lions.
know,
They had a great season. They had a great season.
last season too. Shit,
Absolutely.
they
But
gonna
in
get it
terms
one
of
day.
I almost call them the Redskins. In terms of the Commanders, I got one thing. The only thing that I got to say about that is Jane Daniels had the greatest rookie season ever,
You better
and
get
that's saying a
MVP.
lot. Talking about RG3 and Andrew Luck and Cam Newton and CJ Stroud last year. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
there's been a lot of phenomenal rookie seasons. I've never seen that. Like the Commanders have a lot of weaknesses on this roster. This is still a rebuild. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So for them to be in this situation and for them to have gotten a quarterback that can cover up all of these holes in their roster, you don't see it. They haven't been
You
exploded.
don't.
They haven't been exposed. See, Detroit was that team that was covering up the things that they didn't have on their roster.
Yeah.
Commanders are clearly doing it at a higher level. So shout out to Jay Daniels. We called that early.
Keep
Uh,
working.
keep working.
Got this.
All right. So the Lions lost. What does this loss mean for the Detroit Lions?
Honestly, it means a lot right now. I'll be honest. I know we're gonna get into the next, but when I see the Lions, it's like I see the Bills all over again. You know, I see two good seasons back to back. You know, you did your thing and then you lost. You know, you folded
Hmm. Hmm.
at the biggest point in your career. You know, I definitely gotta say how the Bills picked up is probably how they pick up. You know, but I don't want to be a psychic so early. Just remember what I'm saying. But yeah. The Bills, they had two phenomenal seasons, probably three good ones, and they
Hmm.
kept on fumbling towards the end.
Right.
And right
Right.
now,
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
see the Lions like that for sure. I definitely see the Lions going in that alley. I think next year they can have a good season too, but you know they just got to work a little harder. Goff got to be patient in the pocket. You know, I just felt like he made he made three bad decisions. Like
Mhm.
he really did. And that touchdown that really kind of messed them up. But they picked it up, because at the end of the day, you had Teddy Bridgewater. Yo, I got to give creds when it's due. That man just won a high school football championship as head coach. Came on a team. His first three drives, he got them back in the game. Tip my hat to him. If
That's
there
a
was
fact.
anybody that
That's
should
a
have kept
fact.
in the game,
That's a
they should
fact.
have kept his ass in the game because he just got signed on that team that week prior. So, I definitely got to tip my hat to him on that accomplishment. And like I said, they just got to be strong minded. Next year they could do it again. We're gonna see what's gonna hit for next year. But next year I got them making it to the playoffs again, wild card for
Okay.
a fact.
Okay. So I got a little different tune. The Detroit Lions at this point, I'm worried about what they're gonna look like next year. And that's what this means to me. So um Ben Johnson just he's now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. So the offensive coordinator is gone. I'm also expecting Aaron Glenn to be a head coach as well. So their coordinators are going to both be gone. In situations where that happens, teams always take a step back.
Wait for the Lions?
With the Lions, they just lost their offensive coordinator.
Them already? Damn.
Yeah, yeah, yes,
They
yes,
were they moved quick. Yeah.
yes. And and I'm expecting them to lose their defensive coordinator as well. Now, I think we're about to figure out, we're going to find out how good of a coach Dan Campbell is. And my fear is he's actually just good at finding those two coordinators are why this was happening more
Yeah.
than him, you know? So I don't think he's the secret sauce there. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think Dan Campbell's
Okay.
the secret sauce. I think he's a great motivator. I think he gets them going. But the brains behind the operation was that offense and defensive coordinator. So
Yeah, it's true.
I really wanted to look in to see if Aaron Glenn is if he gets a head coaching gig. But losing that, man, when you lose your coordinator, you lose your culture. You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
you whoever you bring in is going to have a different culture.
That's
They're going to have a
true.
different temperament. They're going to have a different idea of how do we attack things. What are they going to be more passive? Are they going to go deeper more? Are they going to run the ball more? Are they going to, you know what I mean? Like different things will be asked. So you don't know. So all of that you got to find out on the fly. It's
That's
not
a
going to be
fact.
the same thing next year. So I'm cautious about where this is going to go next year.
That's a fact.
Let me say that I'm cautious about where this is going to go, but I got a feeling. I don't know. It may not turn out too great. All
Yeah,
right.
I got a feeling too. We're gonna see how we do.
All
Let's
right.
see.
Cool. So the next game, the Eagles, and
Ooh.
I told you the Eagles Rams game was going to be crazy. Um, I knew this was going to be a crazy game. So the Eagles won. They handled their business, 28
Their
to
own
22
business.
against the Rams. Um, Matthew Stafford was 26 of 44, 324 yards, two touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams had 19 carries for 106 yards, no touchdowns, but he did have that fumble. Um, but that happens. Puka
Yeah, happens.
Nakua, he had 6 receptions for 97 yards. He had no touchdowns. Demarcus Robinson, he had 3 receptions for 74 yards, no touchdowns. Tyler Higbee had a touchdown, and Kobe Parkinson had a touchdown as well.
Yeah, he had touchdown.
And then Jalen Hurts, he was 15 to 20, 128 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Saquon Barkley, listen to this, bro.
Scored
Saquon
for the three.
Barkley, 26 carries, 205 yards, and two touchdowns.
Whew, that boy, nice.
And then Jalen Hurts had 7 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown on top of that, which that's actually good. It's just not after what Saquon did. Dallas Goedert led him in receiving with 54 receptions for 54 yards. Um, I'm gonna start with this one, then I'm gonna pass it to you. I want to start with the Rams first of all. First of all, I told y'all the Rams is the boogeyman. The Rams was the boogeyman. They were the team that if they got into the playoffs, things might get a little different. You see, and it wasn't like 205 yards. It just seemed like you know what I mean. Two touchdowns. It seemed like the Eagles blew them out. Nah, the Rams was that deal. So
It was. I
so
gotta give it to them. They played good.
first of all, the Rams is they did their job, and for me, and this is real, and I'm way nerdier than everybody else when it comes to this football thing. I'm so impressed with the GM of the Rams has done with the Rams after winning a Super Bowl and after giving up so much assets up for their future. Teams usually don't make the playoffs after what they did to acquire a Super Bowl. Teams
Yeah.
usually don't make the playoffs again for like another like 10 years.
Wow.
And they haven't even missed the playoffs since then. So acquiring little pieces here and there, keeping things going. Um, this has been very fun to watch and a pleasure to watch. Um, yeah, I think they just rolled up against a better team. You know, no harm, no foul. The Eagles are just a very versatile team, and it was ironic because after them, I would also say the Eagles are also on that list of this is crazy. Like the Eagles have retired Hall of Famers and replaced those Hall of Famers in one draft. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like you don't replace Aaron Donald. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
You don't replace prime time. You don't replace Tom Brady, and you just don't. You know.
That's
So
true.
they're replacing Hall of Famers in one draft, and I'm like, well, that's just crazy to me. Um,
Crazy.
but how they won, and it's crazy because um, Jalen Hurts hasn't even really had a really great showing in these playoffs yet. I always I made a comparison. I basically said Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, and Lamar Jackson. They're of the same ilk of quarterback. So
Yes,
when I look at how many passes they throw, I kind of know what happened in that game because I know what they didn't have. They weren't uncomfortable as a team. Does that make sense?
that's
So
true.
with him throwing 20 times, right? I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? That's what like that means that he didn't have to throw the ball 30 times. Like Lamar, I think him being the best of the three, yes, but I don't want to see any one of them throwing the ball like 30 times. You know what I mean? I want to see them throwing
Yeah.
the ball like 25 times, like max. But he still, you know what I mean? He still had almost about like 200 total yards coming from them, and I'm waiting to see a game. They're gonna have a game. I want you to know. I'm not saying it's gonna happen this week, this upcoming week, or anything, but they're gonna have a game where they balling out, and people gonna start going off again. So keep
No,
that
for
in mind.
sure.
Keep that in mind.
Right about that.
So,
Absolutely right
so
about
yeah.
that.
So go ahead. So what do you think about this game?
Let's get into the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I definitely gotta tip my hat to him. That 44-yard run, ooh, off the first drive, yo, that showed me a lot right there. I said, damn, oh,
Mhm,
they won it.
mhm.
He did his thing. Now with his passing and everything, I realized in the last 4 games, man, he's been under 20 completions. So it's been showing that, he hasn't been throwing a lot, like you said, which is true, because when you don't throw like that, that means your run game is a little better,
Mhm.
So it's just like any other coach, if they see the run is going, they got a good old line. Let's keep running the ball. Let's
Absolutely.
save them. Let's keep saving them
Absolutely.
passes. Keep his arm young. The best thing that I love about it, they all have strong legs. Him, Saquon, man. If you know how they are in the weight room, then you know how they are on the field. Results in the weight room, it leads to the field. So the legs are strong, all of them, and I got to give it to them on that because him, coming off a little shoulder injury, and him using them legs, and Saquon using their legs, and even the backups. Oh man, that was kind of a little scary right there. I got to tip my hat, to the other team too. Rams, they did their thing, man. They definitely did their thing. I gotta give it to them. Only a few hiccups,
Mhm.
towards the end, and they tried to capitalize on it, but I kind of feel like it was too late because Eagles kept on giving that drop. For our top receivers not to have performed the best on the Eagles and they still win, you gotta look at that too. That showed a lot
That's
right
my
there
thing
too.
about the Eagles. How many different ways that they can play the game of football and still be like, oh, we can play that way. That's scary.
Yeah,
Like the scariest thing to me is that we ain't heard about AJ Brown yet. Like that's happening one time, right?
he was
You do understand.
quiet.
Like, do people understand Devontae Smith? We going to hear an explosion from him eventually. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I
Yeah, he and look, he once he get going, he gonna get going. Only one that I knew for sure that was gonna get targets, and I definitely put a little play on him is Devontae. I knew he was gonna get those 4 receptions. I just knew it because I knew under pressure, Hurts gonna look for him. My boy, he like you said, the other one he's been hicking up a little bit. Like he didn't even give me like a 15-yard longest reception. He he was quiet this game. So
I
Hurts
just want
ain't need
everybody to
him.
know that that's Mike talk also for I lost some money because you didn't do what you said, but I thought you was going
You
to.
ain't do what you do. He ain't stayed on
You
business.
gotta read between the lines when Mike start
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, you got to. You know it.
That's why you
You
said
better know. But
that.
I gotta tip my hat. Also too, you know what helped the Eagles out a lot? Number two, from the Eagles, what's his name again? Well known.
Which position?
Cornerback.
Oh, Kenyon Mitchell or
Yes. So yeah, he was a big help. A lot of people don't know, but he was a big help. He knows how this quarterback played because he played with him for a couple years. So he told them Eagles, he said, "Yo, I'm telling y'all now, he gonna get that ball out. We gotta play it close. You gotta play it tight." He said it after the game. He said that's the biggest thing he was telling his team all week. You know, yo, what's they gonna get that ball out? He's like, yo, but we gotta play him tight. We gotta make the
right,
pocket close.
right.
And look, when you got somebody that's a leader and they doing that and they promoting that, it's only gonna make you hungrier. You're gonna be hungry.
Mm-hmm,
I need it. I need it.
mm-hmm,
Now it's pumping the Eagles up, and it
mm-hmm.
showed. Saquon too, man. Look, I'm not even gonna lie. I put Saquon for 2 touchdowns, and I put this dude for a touchdown on Ravens, but I put him for 100 yards too. He kind of messed me up with the 100 yards. But we don't get into that though. But it showed that I knew because last week I seen Saquon and I said, yo, they was mad at Saquon for not getting that touchdown. When he slid and he didn't get that touchdown, I said, Saquon gonna do it next week. He gonna do it next week. He gonna show them.
Mm-hmm.
And look, boy, he did. 205 yards. I don't know running backs that's doing that much, nowadays. When we was coming out, it was normal, but now everybody want to pass like girls and all that. So
Mm-hmm,
for the run
mm-hmm.
game to be strong,
Okay,
forget about it. I'm
okay.
looking forward for it next week. If they go against the Commanders, I definitely see a great game. Only thing that scared me a little bit, Commanders know that Hurts need the best right now. So just
Okay.
remember I said that.
Fair,
They they
fair,
watch
fair,
they
fair,
they watching that league.
fair. Okay, so let's shift it back to the Rams for a second. All right, so they called it L. What does this loss mean for the LA Rams?
It's reinsurance.
Talk to elaborate.
Reinsurance to know the fact that hey, we've been here before, we accomplished at the highest level. We got a Super Bowl, and we could go for it again. When I look at them, I look
Mm,
at Seattle. I see the Rams as being Seattle. Russell Wilson, he won one, he lost one, then he got it back again. I see that happening with the Rams. I can see the Rams going far again. They all work with each other, and I love it. I love how they play. Their defense is good. They didn't let up too many points until towards the end, but they played really good. When I spoke to you on that last conversation in the fourth quarter, and I seen how he moved that ball, 6 completions
mm-hmm,
for a touchdown,
mm-hmm.
6 plays down the
Yeah.
field, and he scored. That shit showed me that he could do it. He got it in him. Right? It just takes like they say, when it comes to a game like this, you got to start off strong. You cannot wait to the end to start, throwing dimes. You got to do it early. So I give the Rams, I say reinsurance for them. If they keep these coaches and keep everybody they got, they can do their thing. They could make it far next year.
Um. So for me, it's actually pretty simple. What does this loss mean for the Rams? Nothing. Because they're not even supposed to be here in this situation, if you want to be real. This is amazing what we're watching here. Watching this team and watching them, they really was the boogeyman. I really do think outside of playing the Eagles, they would have beaten Detroit or the Commanders. I really do think they would have won all of those games. So actually, they're going to actually be on my short list. I'm always in the future with mine. They're on a short list of teams, and I'm like, next year they could be a Super Bowl contender. If we
Told
want to
you.
be honest,
It's
they
that
could honestly be a
reinsurance.
Super Bowl contender. So I'm really excited to see the Rams. It's been a great season. It's been great watching them not being a team because they started off 1-4, having all these injuries. You know what I mean? They was one of them teams too, and then like coming back, winning their division and everything. They weren't one of those teams that everybody was. highly touted this year. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
true.
But I kept an eye on them. You know what I mean? So even Matthew Stafford, I'm looking at him now from when he came from Detroit to now. I'm like, oh, I get him as a number one overall pick.
He playing way better.
You know what I mean? I didn't always see it in Detroit like that. I get, you know what I mean, who he is. And he's a guy that if you surround him with a certain amount of talent, and I expect them to do the same thing again next year, which is going to be scary. He's a guy that could take you. He could take something on the road and play a quarterback play that is comparable to any quarterback head to head.
That's
So,
true.
so that's where he is. All
Right
right.
about that one.
We're going to start the next segment. The next
Oh, that's the big one.
the next segment. Only because, you know what I'm saying, 4 minutes, you know what I mean, with this one, I don't know how I'm gonna figure that putting it all together. So I said, all right, let's just keep it uniform. But we
That's a
got one
good
more
one.
game. So we're going to let's take five. And then we got one more game. And then we're gonna get to the rest of the segments. And then we're gonna be out of here.
Let's do it.
Then we're gonna get to that national title game, dog.
Yes, sir. About to start. Yes, sir, ski.
Yes, sir, ski. All right, we're gonna
Yep.
take five.
I bet.
The game this week. The game. All right. So Buffalo handled business at home.
Yo, they
Beat the
stood on
Baltimore
business, man.
Ravens. They
I was
won
a little nervous in the beginning.
27-25. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Uh Lamar Jackson, he was 18 to 25, 254 yards, two touchdowns, one pick. He also did have that fumble too. Derrick Henry, he was 16 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely led them with four receptions for 73 yards and one touchdown. And Rashad
Hmm.
Bateman had four receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown. Now Josh Allen, he was 16 to 22 for 127 yards passing, no touchdowns, no picks. James Cook led them rushing with 17 carries for 67 yards, and Ray Davis actually had a rushing touchdown, and Josh Allen had two rushing touchdowns.
Hmm.
Khalil Shakir led them with he had six receptions for 67 yards, but of course they had no receiving touchdowns. So this game ended with some controversy. Mark Andrews dropped the 2 point conversion. How do you feel as though this game went?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are, putting him under pressure and all that stuff. I definitely want to say shout out to him and his family and everything because I know this is something that's going to taunt him for the rest of his career. You
Yeah,
know, but it's football and that's what
that
happens. And
happens. Like that happens. Like
yeah, it
that's the thing
happens.
about football. Like you fuck up and you be like,
Yeah, and
oh
like
no.
damn. Yeah, and I'm not gonna only hold him accountable because I'll be honest, let's not get discouraged here, but why did we wait to the last drive of the game to really start to turn it up? We're not gonna forget with Lamar, he gave away a touchdown, so like a lot of players, I hold everybody accountable. It's a team game, it's not a one-man sport. And a lot of people were messing up, you know, and that's what caused. Even though Lamar stood on business and he got him back in the game, we still not gonna get discouraged about what led to him getting them back in the game. So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely gotta say it was a good game. Shout out to the Bills. I knew the Bills were gonna hold it down. Me and my brother actually was going at it because he was like, F the Bills. He like, I'm going Ravens Lamar. I said, I'm telling you right now. I said, Allen, man, he's the real deal. I'm
That's what. That's
telling you.
exactly how I was telling people. Like, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. How this is
Yo, I just knew Bills like was gonna take it. I'm mad they had him as the underdogs. I didn't like that. I just felt like that was disrespectful.
going.
That so a lot of things is personal. Um, for him to only throw 127 yards, 16 out of 20 completions, as you said,
Hmm.
I gotta give it to him. That showed that he didn't even have to use a lot of receivers. He just know how to move the football. You know how to make the plays when it count the most. He's starting to learn the game, and now he's not being a selfish player. He's being a team player. And this year, Allen is coming different. I see them in the Super Bowl. As far as Lamar,
Mm-hmm. Oh, first of all, you ain't just gonna brush past that. You're not just gonna brush past saying something like that. Oh, you know what you said? Okay, okay, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep
look,
going.
I see them in the Super Bowl, man. I will say this: the last 3 or 4 games, Allen has been throwing under 200 yards, and he's known for putting up numbers when it comes to yardage. But now he's understanding the assignment. He's understanding how to make the right plays, the right decisions. And I tip my hat to him. This guy almost had 3 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback. 3 rushing as a quarterback. If
Mm-hmm.
he didn't get stopped on the 1 yard line, he would have
Mm-hmm.
had his
Mm-hmm.
third touchdown of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna forget that. I tip my hat to him. He's a good player. He's a great player. He's in the making of all makings. They better retire his number down the line. But look, he did his thing. I think he's the best asset, to the Bills in the last couple years. I give him that. Ravens, they were a little shaky. Me and you just talked about that, a couple days ago when we talking about the defense and everything, and you told me how their defense, you said they were like the number one, number two seed or something like that.
In defense, the Ravens, yeah,
Yeah,
they were
defense
number two
Raven.
in sacks, and they were like top five in like picks. They were like top five. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So now, like, what happened? When it comes to a play like a team like that
I'm
and a
glad that you
defense,
said that. That's a very good question. And it's a question that people are afraid to ask because here's the thing: a lot of the people that are talking about football, they don't have the answer because they never played football. And I'm not hating on nobody
exactly.
because I was never a professional athlete or anything like that. But what I am saying is, and I know what fourth and inches feel like.
Yes, they get crucial.
Yeah. So to ask the question, well, then what happened? Do you mind? Did you still have something else to say, or do you mind if
Oh
I?
no, I'm done. I got to end it off. What happened? I got to end it
Okay.
off like
So
that.
first of all, I'm not overly I don't really hold that a lot against Mark Andrews. Only because when they scored, I did expect them to get the 2 point conversion. Don't get me wrong. When they scored, I was like, oh, it's a minute and 24. Josh Allen got a minute 24. I
Yeah,
was
that's a
like,
lot of time.
that's gonna be too much time. That's exactly what I thought. So I still thought, even with that, even if that happened, that this was not going to end up. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to overtime. I did.
Exactly.
I was like, nah, the Bills about to finish this. So here's exactly what it is. So once again, Lamar Jackson being one of those guys that covers up what's wrong on his roster. That's great. The problem when you have that person, the organization sometimes says we don't have a sense of urgency about what it is that we need. So coming into this game, he don't even have Zay Flowers. So he has pretty much Rashad Bateman is their number one receiving. I don't know wide receiver option. So you got two
Mhm.
tight ends and Rashad Bateman, and you telling me that's what Lamar Jackson took into Buffalo with that. Now the problem with them is first of all, and it was very sneaky because they got Deontay Johnson back because remember they released him, but
Yeah, he did.
so they need. I know that they know they need two wide receivers. Even if I'm saying they're just more of a threat, you need that receiving option. And the thing that they covered up, well, how does a number two sack team need improvement? I'm about to tell you. The defensive coordinator is phenomenal. The defensive system is phenomenal. If they don't have any players on their team that can just rush the passer, just line them up, get there.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying is eventually you always run into a team when you can't do that at all. You run into a team that says, okay, they have to blitz to do anything.
Yep.
Now I'm a better team with a better offensive line and I can run the ball. And you know what I mean? I have this great quarterback, and I'm saying, oh, well, let's make these. We're going to do routes, quicker routes, because
Yep.
that's how you defeat a blitz. Is you got to get the ball out before the
Gotta
blitz.
get out quick, and he's
So
good for that.
with time and understanding how to defeat something, if you can't then have a switch that says I'm gonna just get there and I don't need to do that either, it always catches back up to you. So Lamar Jackson did a very good job of masking what's wrong on this roster, but this roster needs help. They need. All right, they got Deontay Johnson. I don't know if that's gonna work out because he seemed a little unhappy with life at the moment.
Yeah.
He's pissing everybody off right now.
Yeah, for real.
So if Deontay Johnson works out, then they need one, maybe two pass rushers, and they need to understand that they need to give some stuff up to get those pass rushers.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. They definitely
If
need
the
some more
if
pass
Deontay
rushers.
Johnson don't work out, I'm telling you this up front. They need a wide receiver and two pass rushers. That will
Yeah.
get them over any hump that's going to be presented.
Any hump, they need that. They definitely
They
need that.
have everything else. Even if you got
If
to give up on some of them linebackers, you better give up on them linebackers. Okay.
No, for sure. You're right about that. I feel like they got a lot of weapons, but when you got a no huddle offense and you're fast off the ball, like I said, if you can't with a team like Allen, you can't be so quick to blitz, blitz, blitz. You got to be smart with him. You got to throw him off guard. You can't. He's a smart guy.
Have a switch up on
Yeah,
defense. It's either that successful or it's not.
exactly.
That's that. And so to answer your question, that is how the number two ranked defense gets exposed.
They had the Bills looking like the number one defense out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, and shout out to the Bills again because I skipped this part. The Bills defense played a phenomenal game. I gotta give it to them. I never seen bully ball like that, like how they played yesterday. That was straight bully ball.
Mm-hmm.
To smoke this dude 250 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about putting him on his back. Even when he was going for short passes, you know who I'm talking about. And
Mm-hmm.
he got 198 on them last game?
Yeah.
For them to make sure he got less than 100, less than 90, disrespectful. Disrespectful. They wasn't playing this time. Bills was blitzing that gat. They were switching guys. They shut him down. They shut him down. He should have kept the dreads. He should have kept the dreads.
Not, not the antennas to the universe. Not the he should have kept the antennas to the universe. He
He
needed
should have kept it. He needed though, because I don't know what happened to my boy.
so
But I tip my hat to the Bills. Bills played a great game. Just on and off the ball, they knew what they was doing. They understood the assignment,
mhm.
and I'm not gonna knock that the Ravens didn't play a good game too. They did, but I just felt like how Lamar played in that last drive, he should have played in that first drive. Well, he did do in that first drive, but he should have played in that whole drive. Every drive, he should have been playing like that because we know Lamar know how to move the ball. So I don't know what happened these other drives, but he could have won that game. He
Right,
showed me that last fourth quarter,
right.
he could have won
This
that
is not
game.
Lamar's
But
fault by
like you
all means.
said,
With all that said, this is
yeah,
not.
it's not
They
like
turned the ball over
it's
more.
not his fault.
That's why they lost. They didn't in his reasons why because they what they had to do.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a fact.
and actually, I'm actually just going to jump. Go ahead. You're just going to say something.
Uh, no, only part I was gonna say, that fumble. That fumble was crucial. If what's his name would have got that ball, like, look, they could have had scored on that drive too. That was another drive. That was a really good drive. I felt bad for.
Mhm.
It was Mark Andrews that dropped the ball. Who dropped the ball?
Yeah, Mark Andrews dropped two passes.
Yeah, he dropped two passes. He had the ball. He caught it. I don't know what he was trying to do with the rock, but little spin off. He got boom, fumble.
Right, right.
Scoop and score.
That happens though.
That
I'm
happens.
actually going to start with the Ravens in terms of what this loss means for them. It could mean everything, or it could mean comfortability. Comfortability. I always say that you die in your comfort zone. If
Hmm.
they're comfortable with where they at, then they're pretty much we pretty much are watching the apex of the Ravens next year, and I want more for Lamar Jackson. I want the organization to give him more. If this is everything, and it's like I'm tired of this, they gonna go out. And they gonna go get what's necessary. They gonna go get a pass rusher or two, even if it's people just like listen. All they do is just pass rush. They gonna go figure out this defensive line so that they can show a package that basically says I can get to you with 4-2. I blitz,
Hmm.
but I can get to you with 4-2, and
That's a fact.
and I'm gonna dictate to you now. That's the Baltimore Ravens. So as Lamar Jackson is the number one option because usually traditionally in Baltimore it's defensive players. Now that Lamar's option, I think that's the one thing that it kind of said. All right, well let's not try to do that. If the Chiefs do one thing better than everybody else. Like the Chiefs are only good at the positions that you need to be good
That's a
at.
fact.
Like surprising, like there's a couple positions
That's a
you
fact.
can't you can't put that in this on display and hope for success.
That's a fact.
They don't have a pass rush, and I know it. And people have people in the playoffs figure that out. So
Yeah,
that's that. So
well, that's true.
what's this loss mean for the Ravens?
It's everything, you know. I feel like at this point, I feel like they still crying off that loss. You know, just to come this far, you know, countless times. Well, now you guys made it farther than you did last year. You know, so I feel like you're only going up the ladder. But like you said, Ravens, the staff need to do everything in their power to get Lamar the right
Right.
players.
They need to
Because
understand they're far away from some of the,
yeah,
and then they're not
exactly.
really close.
They
They need
need
to have
more.
that
Yeah,
caliber.
that's a fact. They need more caliber players. As far as receivers, you need a good number one receiver. Like you need a receiver to back up. You know what's the name if he's not there? He got injured. If Zay Flowers didn't get injured, then you got what Bateman. Now you need somebody to back up Bateman. Bateman can only be on one side of the field. He can't play both sides. Everybody knows that. You can't be on two sides of the field at the same time. You need weapons, and if you don't got weapons, you're lucked out.
Mhm.
Far as the Bills, look at the Bills. My boy only got one reception, and coming out of the Raiders, he was the what? He was the best. Coming out of Alabama, he was the best. And Bill still showed, Allen still showed he didn't need him. He didn't need
Amari
Amari
Cooper.
Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
And yeah, and we know Amari Cooper is the real deal.
Yeah.
But yo, but look, last couple games, Allen showed y'all like, hey, y'all not gonna sit here and say this is the Amari and Allen show. I'm gonna show y'all this is the whole team show. All my players is good. All my players is good, and I just feel like that's how they should have came to the game. I'm not gonna discredit them. They played a remarkable game, but as I said, you know, looking forward to next season, they got to put that bread up. You know, you need more money. You need more money. You need a better budget. You got to get these top receivers. I would say look at the free agents because you know you can't get the top picks in the draft. You guys made it this far. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
The losing team they get the first picks. So you know, I just feel like really do some research, see what receivers is out there. Even you got to go to a D2 school and get the best receiver there look, do something, but you got to make it happen. They need some. They need some real weapons. They can't keep using the same guys and then getting mad. You know.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So that was the divisional round. So we have a topic right now that I'm actually pretty excited about. And I'll go first just to make it a little bit easier on you. I want to rank the teams that lost, the losing teams, the teams we ain't gonna hear about no more this year. We're gonna rank them on how we see them uh for for this year. Now my list is probably gonna be a little bit different, only because mine has a little bit of a projection for next year in it. See, I'm
Okay,
always
tenfold.
projecting, I'm always in the future.
I like that.
So for me, at the bottom, um, I got I got the Bucks at the bottom.
Ooh.
Then I got this is wild card and divisional round. So I got the Bucks at the bottom. Then I got the Vikings. Um, they're about to lose their defensive coordinator, and that's gonna be different for them.
But you got them what? Not making it to the playoffs or making it.
I'm not. I'm not. This ain't the time for me to project them making it to playoffs or not. But what I'm saying is, out of the teams that made it in the playoffs, they're on the lower end of that to me. Like
Okay,
they're
okay,
not as
okay.
good of a team now and
Tenfold.
going into next year. So Bucks, Vikings. Then I'm actually going to go Steelers, and then I'm going to go Chargers, and then I'm going to go Broncos, and then I'm going to go Texans, and then I'm going to go Lions. Now here's I'm going to throw you off a little bit. Then I'm going to put the Packers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're the youngest team in football. They played the Eagles. I mean,
Okay.
They're the youngest team. I love their quarterback. I love their cap space.
So you gotta give love space. I
I
give some credit.
yeah, the Packers. I am saying they're going to. I think they're a very good team. Like if they were playing somebody else, they also would have beaten a lot. Like if they'd played Detroit, they'd have beat Detroit. If they would have played the Bucks, they would have beat the Bucks. So we're having this conversation because they lost to the Eagles in the first round, not because they lost in the first round. They lost to the
Okay,
Eagles
okay,
in the first round.
that makes sense.
So then I got them, and I have then I have the Ravens,
Okay,
and then I have the Rams. And yeah, that's my list. That's from the teams that lost. I think the Rams are the best team going in. I think yeah. Yep, that's my list. Yep. That's it. So just going back in just so you can hear it again. I got I had the Bucks, then I had the had the Bucks, then I had the Vikings, then I had the Steelers, then I had the Chargers, then I had the Broncos, then I had the Texans.
you said Bucks, Vikings, Steelers, Broncos, Texans.
You said Chargers, you forgot Chargers in that too.
So you got
Chargers was right below the Broncos.
so it's Bucks, Vikings, Steelers, Chargers, Broncos.
Mhm.
All right, Chargers, Broncos. Okay,
Then I had the Texans, and then I had the Lions. Then I have the Packers.
okay,
Then I have the Ravens and then the Rams being the best of these losing teams.
okay. My turn.
Your turn.
The bottom of the bottom, I'm going Broncos. Sorry,
I understand.
Broncos out
Go
there.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, got it. Yeah, gotta go Broncos. Then I'm gonna go Chargers. Then I'm gonna go. I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna go Vikings or Bucks. But because I like the Bucks, I'm gonna go Vikings. So yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings, and then I'm gonna go to Bucks. Then I do the Packers. Then I do the Rams, Ravens, and Lions at the end. That's what I'm doing. That's
Okay.
not bad. That's not bad.
No, it's not a bad it's not a bad list. My problem, all right. So my biggest problem with your list is that you have the Bucks even higher, even as high
I
as they
got
do.
to. I
So
just
here's my
feel like
problem. Here's my problem with that, and here's why I put them last. They're in the NFC South. If they were in any other division, they would not be in the playoffs.
ooh, but you got to give it to them, man. They got hard. And I just
They,
feel
what
like
do you
they
mean? They would
wasn't
no, they
healthy.
don't. No, they don't.
They're
No,
not
they
that
don't.
healthy right
They're in
now.
the NFC South. See, it seemed like they got hard. They're just in the NFC South. Like they're the situations are bad. You had the Falcons were the closest thing. Kirk Cousins fumbled at the end of the year. Then you got Carolina, who figured out who was like, all right, maybe we need to use Bryce Young a different way, and they figured out 10 or 12 weeks into the season that he was actually good in this certain way. And then you got the Saints. Let me tell you something about the Saints. The Saints aren't good. We can agree on
Saints are
that.
not good. They're not
The
the same no
Saints
more.
aren't good, and they're starting with the least amount of cap space next year. That's
Mhm.
how bad that they are. They're starting off. Wait a minute. They're starting off $50 million over the cap.
Wow.
That's the dysfunction of the NFC South. The Bucks are not that good. They're just in the NFC South.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna let the past talk. We're gonna let the past talk. We're gonna see what they do. Uh,
Okay,
I,
that's fair.
I get them a little hope. I just feel like they got to get a little healthy. I feel like this season a lot of people got hurt. But I definitely see. I don't know. For some reason, I see a lot of potential in Mayfield. He put the bid down, and I see my boy. I see him on the rise. He got some heart. He definitely do.
I think this is just it for them.
He's way better than the Panthers.
And the Lions, and I'm telling you, next year, I got it. They gonna have to do something to surprise me.
Yeah.
Um, next year might be a little rough for them, man. I'm telling you.
Next year gonna be scary. It's gonna be scary. We're gonna see.
But yeah, but
I
I
like I like them though. I like the Lions. I feel like they played a good game. Them and the Rams. I definitely see. They definitely for a fact making
okay,
it round two
okay,
next year.
cool.
I
All right,
see them.
cool. Let's just get down to it then. We got two games, conference title games. Let's just get to the bottom of this. You see what I'm saying? Let's hear what's going on. So Eagles Commanders, who you got in Philly?
Eagles, Commanders, and Philly.
Mhm.
What Usher said. That's the hardest thing I ever had to do.
Mm,
Ooh,
that was in confessions. You know, he told on himself
yeah,
after he said that.
yeah. It's a hard one.
He told on himself after that.
Look, I will say this, and I rest my case. If Jalen Hurts have a strong week this week, and we get this injury figured out, because I see he didn't run anymore
Hmm.
towards that fourth quarter, and
Hmm.
he has not been passing like that.
Hmm.
If Jalen Hurts gets better this week, leading to this game, I can see the Eagles taking it all away. My only worries is Jay Daniels is 3 times, I'm not going to say 10 times, he's 3 times healthier than Hurts right now. And I just got a strong feeling he's going to really move that ball because, yo, he throw dimes, man. I'm telling you, he's going to throw the Eagles off. And if you look at the stats and you look at the games,
Hmm.
right now they 1-1. So may the best man win. That's a game right there. I got to tip my hat to. But it get wicked. It get wicked. But
Understood.
right now,
So
Eagles is home. I'm going Eagles because I'm my brother's keeper, and I feel like if Hurts is hurt, he got his brothers to pick him up off their feet. I feel like Saquon gonna step it up. Everybody, Devontae Smith gonna turn it up a notch. Their backup is not too bad. So I feel like they're gonna finish the assignment. But Eagles really gotta hold it down. They D lineman gotta step it up. 98 gotta really come through. He came
Aaron
through.
Carter.
Yes, yo, he's a problem. And yo, and if he do that double move again and do that swim,
With the-
yo, and look, man, like Gilly say, man, Eagles, let's go Eagles, let's fly with the Eagles, we flying.
um, so the initial spread is the Eagles are favored by 4.5, and now it's 5.5. Um,
I don't think so. It's gonna be three or less.
okay. So with that said, I'm thinking the Eagles are going to win the game and they're going to cover the spread because I actually think they're going to win by like 10. This is
You
not
think Eagles gonna win by 10?
yes.
Uh,
Yes.
ooh,
So first of all, it's in this see, and Jaden Daniels is remarkable. He's also hidden very well the problems in in this
yeah.
roster. And there's a lot of rosters. There's a lot of problems in the Commanders roster, and that's just the truth. Whereas flip side, the Eagles, they their roster is very good with or without. Uh, well, Hurts has to play, of course. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if Jalen Hurts is running the ball a lot, if he's throwing it for a lot of yards, if he's handing it to Saquon, if they leaning on the defense, and now they need to, I mean, we need the defense to get a stop, a pass rush, stop the run, take away their like suffocate this offense. Yeah, I can see the Eagles doing all of that. So I'm going to Eagles. I'm saying they're gonna win by 10.
Eagles by 10. I like that. I like that. You on to something.
You see? You see?
You
You
on to
see? I don't just
something.
give you the straight. You see? I give you everything. You see?
You on to something. I'm gonna keep that in mind for that parlay.
I'm When are we gonna talk about this? I'm sure this ain't the last time we're gonna.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I
Um,
feel like, even though I feel like a close game, but if they did have odds, I'm going with that second option. I definitely think. I just know for sure Eagles is gonna secure it. It's personal. This dude, Jalen Daniels, is a rookie, man. So, I can't discredit him. If he goes far, I tip my hat to him. But I gotta go Eagles because I just feel like they've been here before. They made it to the final round.
mhm,
They lost by what, 3 points when they played the Chiefs, or 2 points? It was a real close game.
mhm.
So I know they're coming for the belt now. They coming for it.
Okay.
Head coach is a really good head coach. He's been here before. He got a ring actually, and the best thing about it, he got a ring with a backup quarterback. You know what I mean? Not even Carr did it. He tore his ACL. The dude,
Yeah, yeah. It
other
was, it
dude
was
with
Nick
it.
Foles. It was Nick Foles.
Yeah, come on. So look,
Was
he know what he
Sirianni the head
doing.
coach then? No, it wasn't Sirianni. That was Doug Peterson.
Doug Peterson, yes, Doug
That was Doug
Peterson,
Peterson. That wasn't
yeah,
Sirianni.
Doug Peterson.
Okay, cool. Well, going over to the game, we're gonna head over to Kansas City. In Kansas City, so I just want to know that the opening odds was the Chiefs were favored by half a point, but now it's a point and a half. So, man, not that I didn't hear what you got to say, but say
I'm
what
going Bills.
you
New
got to
York,
say.
I'm
Say what
going
you got to
Bills.
say.
I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm
Oh,
tired to take their ass back to Missouri. I'm, I'm going New York. New York represent.
my goodness.
Although they not New York City, they New York State. I'm going the Bills.
But
I
that's different
have
though.
to.
That's different though. The Bills is not. They ain't got nothing to do with New York City. They said that might as well be a different state. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Y'all New Yorkers, y'all always be trying to pull that. Y'all pull that. You see, y'all pull the. You ain't really with us the whole time, but the second you start doing something good, you might be able to. You know what I'm saying? You can at least
Yo.
you come into the party for a second until you trash again, then you gotta get out again.
Nah, for real. Nah, but if you really think about it though, now that I'm really doing some thinking, the Bills are kind of more New York than the Jets and the Giants because they don't play in New York. They
But
play
they,
in Jersey.
but they like 30 minutes away. The Bills is like 8 hours away.
Like they New York and they playing in New Jersey in a different state. Like, come on, I'm going with my
But
Bills,
like
man.
all I'm saying is the Bills like 8 hours. You gotta get like you can catch a flight from New York City
Nah,
to
it's
Buffalo
a
to
fact.
get on.
Nah, that's true. You're right. You're right. But I'm
That's how
going
far
Bills.
away it is. The fact that it still is in the state of New York is like I think that's a little consequence.
Nah, that's true. That's true.
Um,
But I'm going Bills. I just feel, I don't know, for some reason I feel like the Bills got it, man. It's just something in my heart that's telling me the Bills got it.
okay.
Like, yo, they've been here before. They played the best game when they played the Chiefs. They lost countless times, and this time they shall rise. It's just like that. Just like that. Let's go, Bills. Let's go, Bills. Bring it home. If
Mhm.
Bills win, you're going to see me in Buffalo. Yeah.
Not in Buffalo. You going to Buffalo? You gonna be by yourself?
I'm going to Buffalo.
It's cold there. It's cold. You gonna be the only
Oh,
listen. You, Griselda and Rick James, the only black things that ever happened in Buffalo. Okay, so you can be there. Okay. Um,
uh,
this whole year I've heard about all of this in terms of stats, in terms of MVP and stuff like that. You know who I really feel as though, honestly, honest to God, who I really feel like is the most valuable player in the NFL? It's Patrick Mahomes.
I knew you was gonna say that.
It's Patrick
I
Mahomes.
felt
And
Mahomes
if you
thinking
took
about it.
and I'm tired of it being glossed over, what that man has accomplished. Every year that he has, how many years has Patrick Mahomes been in the NFL? 7.
Like 7 years, yeah. So,
As a starter, he's never not been in the AFC Championship game.
that's true.
Like he's never not seen this. This
He's
is
great.
comfortable with it. He is comfortable here. And all year I had to sit back and listen and hear people say, well, Patrick Mahomes, his numbers ain't good. Is it, you know what I mean? Everything look like it's slowing down, look real hard for him. And I'm like, nah, he got to get everybody, he got to make sure everybody look like that they a threat. He got to make these, what did Jordan Belfort do when gave him a system so that everybody who is broke, now you can sell to like rich people. Remember in the
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street?
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes got to make everybody believe these average guys are threats. That's
Mm-hmm.
hard. And he's been doing that all year.
Doing that for years.
y'all about to you like. I feel as though is everybody gonna be hurt when it happens. You know, I'm not gonna go any further than that. When it happens,
I
everybody
sound
gonna be
like
because
I know what team you going for.
no. With that said, I'm going with the Chiefs. Why do you think?
Ah,
Why do you think the Chiefs ain't gonna win? Is my bigger question.
they've been there before 3 consecutive times. Like you said, out of the last 7 years, he has made it to the finals. But like I said, it's 2025. This
What I'm saying is for every other team in the NFL, getting to a conference championship game is a big deal.
it's a big deal for sure.
They're yawning at this point at this game. They're like, well, this is just what we do. We get to the conference championship game. Only time he didn't get out of that game was Joe Burrow when they went to the Super Bowl and Tom Brady. Those were the only two times in his whole career he didn't get out of the conference championship game.
That's true.
And and you know what? Even going back to that Joe Burrow thing, they were saying that Joe Burrow had Patrick Mahomes' number. You know how that looks now. Like how many questions like y'all we know what this is. That's all I'm saying. We know
Yeah,
what this is. So
you
yes,
know what it is.
Chiefs. Of course, I'm going with the Chiefs.
You got the Chiefs, I got the Bills.
And we're gonna talk about
Best man win. Let's see. Let's see.
we're gonna have to see. Well, that's cool, man. Yo, I appreciate you. Got anything else you want to talk about real quick before we wrap this thing up? Anything you want
Look,
to
let's go
highlight?
Bills, man. Let's go.
Bills Mafia. Bills Mafia.
Bills, Mafia. I gotta get it
The
up
New
with the
York team.
Bills.
Bills Mafia. The New
Yo,
York
I
New
got
York
to,
City team.
man. I like Josh Allen right now. He's playing a good game. Like I said, he's moving smart. He knows how to move the ball. It's only so many times you could lose. And to end it off with this one, you brought to my attention when we had our last conversation. You said, you know what makes a good team? You said knowing what happened the first week, first time playing, and now what happens the second time. When they played the Ravens, they got bullied. And you said if he's a good team, if it's a good team, that second time they play them, they're gonna beat them.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you right there. So if you're going with the Chiefs, that shows you right there.
Right, and you know the Chiefs legitimately lost one game all year. You know who that was to? Buffalo. They ain't forget that. They ain't forget that. They ain't forget that. You see? That's all I'm saying. So we'll see.
Look,
So with that said, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You come through, you talk all this, you talk real, you know what I mean? You drop knowledge off. You know what I mean? We're gonna continue even after this, we're gonna continue getting healthier. You know what I mean? Drinking water. I got lemon water is what I
that's
got
what I'm
in there.
talking about. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So for the next time you come through, you know what I mean? You know what it's we
Let's
gonna
do it. I'm here. I'm
no
here,
shirt
my
on at
brother.
all. You see
You
what I'm
know
saying?
it.
Just
We gotta
back
be ready.
and cuts. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gotta be ready.
That's the Mike 365 way. You see what I'm saying?
Good morning, world. Word.
All right, y'all. You already know you can catch the full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. You can catch the reels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You know, TikTok almost got up out of there. I had to make some business. I had to have some thoughts on that, but it
Gotta stand on business.
it's going to stay.
Yes, Sirski.
With that said, you came in, yes, Sirski, you came in here, you dropped all this knowledge off, and I still got to hit you with, unfortunately, Mike, cuz you don't know football. I appreciate you. I
Appreciate
appreciate
you, my
you.
brother.
We're gonna talk in after this game and in the off season. We got a real good off season plan. I want you to be a part of it in terms
Let's
of
do
talking
it.
about off season stuff, man. Can't wait for you to come back. Just like Martin said, I'm gonna see you when I see you.
You
Peace.
know it. Peace.